Hey, everybody, and welcome to Authentic Points of View podcast. McKenna's not here again. Hello. She's okay. She just isn't feeling the greatest. So I don't ever force her to do this. So she's wanted to kind of just rest. So that's okay. But I am super excited about today's guest. Um, I think we kind of talked about this topic, but not so much. So it's really exciting. And I like to talk about all the things. So it's going to be really cool. And I think I'm going to learn something too, which is really good. I love to learn. So Blanca Molnar is a conscious parenting coach, speaker, and the founder of Awareness. It is a coaching company dedicated to helping parents heal multi generational traumas and overcome challenges related to raising children. Welcome, Blanca, to the show.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm really excited. Um, the multi generational trauma thing, it's it's serious, and
Yeah.
if somebody doesn't put a stop to it, it could go on for all eternity. So thank you so much for coming on and talking about it. How did you get into this line of work, or what motivated you to help parents in this way?
So I had my first family constellation session back in Hungary, where I am from, about 14 years ago. And then I moved to California to take care of two kiddos as an au pair, as like a live-in nanny. And taking care of those two kiddos definitely triggered me multiple times. I came from a corporate background, and that was hardcore. Like, I thought that corporate life is hardcore, but raising kids, well, you have to roll up your sleeves for sure. And as I was having multiple conversations with these kiddos and multiple meltdowns, one morning I lost it. And I didn't hit them or anything like that, but I was so angry. And what I realized that in that moment, that these are not even my feelings. This is not my behavior, but everything how I was parented was bubbling up to the surface. I wanted to be, and in most of the cases, I was a very caring, loving, patient au pair. But in that moment, I was like, this is actually my dad. This is actually more my mom. And I will be honest, and that scared me because I wasn't on autopilot. And I was like, wait a sec, what if I would have my own kids and this will keep going on? So that's when I embarked on my spiritual or healing journey, and I did a lot of stuff. And fast forward, we were trying to conceive. We had multiple miscarriages. So I turned back, and Western medication, they were like, just like, yeah, it's nature. And I was like, that's not an answer for me. I would like to know what's going on. So I turned back towards family constellation, especially after my daughter was born, to heal forward, and for her and for myself. And that's when I decided that more people need to know about this method. And I learned it, and now I'm doing it with other parents.
Oh, awesome. So um, it's interesting that you say that as the au pair, because I mean, honestly, as a parent, I I love my kids. I have four kids. Three are grown, and then I have a 12-year-old. She's my only girl. And I have to go, I love my daughter. And so I do. She's amazing. But sometimes it's like you get to the point. So as an au pair, wow, like for that to be even how like you felt. So I think it's amazing that you were like, no, before the child even came, you're like, no, I have to fix this. And I'm very sorry for your losses. I've had
Thank you.
miscarriages as well. And so can you explain what constellation parenting, like what does it even mean? Is it like constellation, like the like?
Sky? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What does it mean?
yeah. So it's actually a beautiful phrase. I love it, family constellation, but it's actually nothing about the stars and in alignments and the sun and the earth and stuff. And actually I'm not using your birth chart or anything like that. So because some parents is like, I don't know when I was born. It's fine. So what we are actually working for, or the founder, who was Bert Hellinger, he was a German psychologist. He says that whatever is going on in your life or your kid's life, anything mental, physical, emotional, environmental, financial, if you have any challenges, it might be that there is a root cause, a multi-generation back, a traumatic event that happened multi-generations back, and it's actually trickled down to you or to your child, and you inherited that in your DNA. So what we are using is actually how I work on a one-on-one session online with my clients. Is they come to me that, oh, I have this issue, and I actually work with colored papers. We find the root cause of the traumatic event that happened 5, 6. Actually, we can go back to 7th generation and see what was it and how it came down to you, and we give it back to the source. So why is it a constellation? Because imagine like a spider web with different points that might be missing. So we are mending the field, we are mending the family conscientious in a session.
Whoa, that is really cool. I love it. That's awesome. Like that's really, really cool. So, whoa, I'd never heard of this before. I mean, I've heard of like, so I'm actually a life coach as well. So I do trauma and grief, and I have a lot of friends and people I have interviewed as well that do like the intergenerational trauma. They help with that from different methods, like
Yes.
lots of different methods.
Yes.
And so it's cool to hear about this because again, I love to learn. So it's really fascinating. How did you find it out though? Like how did you figure this out? Is it from being from Hungary or like how did you hear about it?
So the method is been around since the 1970s, so it's not new, but it's not a surprise that you haven't really heard about it because it's much more popular in Europe, and that's where I heard about it, and it's a very popular method in Hungary, holistic method or holistic therapy, and also it's very popular in South America, but not many people in the US doing it. And as you mentioned, there are different modalities. You can heal with hypnosis and other things. You can heal multi-generational traumas, and it's very much needed. So however you do it, just do it because the words need it. Because some people are like, some of my clients is like, but the past is the past. Why should I deal with this? I forget it. I've forgiven it. But unfortunately, it's not like that. It has an impact on you, actually a bigger impact that you are imagine. And it's like, so it's like in people's mind, it doesn't click. It's just like, okay, I have cancer. What do? I go to the doctors, I go to radiation and chemotherapy, and that's it. That's how I try to cure it. But nobody puts it together that, okay, something might happen generations back, and that's actually causing like a heavy burden on our family. So somebody is putting on a burden of a cancer to actually remind what's going on there.
Wow. Yeah. So, oh goodness. I lived in Germany twice, but I was a kid, so I'm sure it was there as well, but I just didn't realize what was going on because I was young. But anyway, so yeah, it's really important to do that because even such things as like I tried to be, and no offense to my mom or my dad, but I tried to be not like my mom. And one day, for some reasons, some ways I would like to be way more like my mom. She's very organized. She's very on time. She's very like those things. I'm not so much like that either, but I worked on it. But there's some things that I was like, I'm not gonna be like that. Da, 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 da. So I ended up being very overprotective instead of how she was. Even generations before, like, you know, back in the day, kids were allowed, even in Germany, we would be out all day. We were on the base and it would be sun up to sundown. Nobody knows where you are. You're just running around, you know, whatever, it's fine. And that's just how it was back then. But with my kids, I wanted to do the opposite, which kind of bit me in the touche. But also one day I didn't realize I was being like her until she said to me, all you do is yell. And I was like, halt, because that's what she did. And I was like, oh no, is that how I'm being? And like the coming from her, and no offense again, I love her. I really do, but I'm just being transparent. And so I was like, holy crap, I can't be like that. And so that really was like and then I look back and I don't know my great grandma. I don't remember anything about her, but I know that, you know, my grandmother also yelled. So it was like, I just looked back and was like, oh, okay. And not that we can't stop it, we can, but again, like you said, if we don't realize what it's showing up as, right? And
Yes.
so for me, lots of my trauma and stuff, and I'm not saying this is my mom's fault at all, like separate that conversation, but like a lot of things that I had been through were showing up in my health. And so, so do you find that people, like your clients, once you treat it or stop the, all right, stop it. Do you think that they're a lot more healthy, like mentally, physically, all those things, or how does it show up in their lives?
So a couple things, if I can reflect back to your mom, and I see so many, and I was the same. So I'm from professional and from personal experience, I was like, this is my mom, and I will do the complete opposite. And as you mentioned, that usually like you either end up like doing the same mistakes or the complete opposite, which is not helping you either. Right. So I try to guide my clients and parents into the balance, but so many of them is so angry at their parents that we have to find, like, I never ask my clients to forgive. I'm not pushing them. That's an extra pressure, and there is a lot to unfold there. But go into a more neutral place instead of the love and hate spectrum, because when you are more in the neutral, that's when you are more in tune with your core. And even if you make mistakes, because it's like there are days when it's like, holy cow, like you literally have to buckle up. We are potty training this week, so that's another thing. I know. So it's like you all remember. And so it's not about blaming our parents. And by the way, so most of the times I see that actually if our parents did what they did, it was coming way back from like, so we had a suicide in our family way back, and that was actually coming from further. But how it trickled down, that my mom was a controlling mom, and then I was very like too responsible and too independent, and that caused me problems with like finding my husband, because I was like the super independent. I don't need anybody. I don't need any support financially, emotionally. And then you are like, okay, you are 35. Anyway, so it's like swinging back and forth and back to balance. It's like answering your question. Yes. All of our traumas can come up in different way. Some people, like financially, they are earning good money, but at the end of the month, they are like paycheck to paycheck, because they feel like something, it's not even them spending their money. Obviously, you go to the store and spending or buying stuff on Amazon, but it's like, it feels like it's not even me. Same with our health. It's like when you are like, this is not even me. This is not even my feeling causing that. So when we give back one responsibility or one burden to the source, it might be that it's not just the symptom that they came with goes away, but other stuff starts to line up. It's like a butterfly effect because you are not carrying that burden anymore. And funny thing is, when my clients, I usually ask them that come with 1 or 2 things that you would like to change in your life. And we might work on a third or a fourth things or something that is overlapping because it's all related to the same person or to the same traumatic event.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So when you say you don't like ask people to forgive, that's one thing that I do as a coach is that we do forgiveness. And so, but they already know that going in. So I don't force anybody to, to do it. That's like one of my things that I say that I help with, but it's also forgiving ourselves as well. So
very much so. Yeah.
So that's something that I had to do. And this podcast is for like kids and stuff too, but I've talked about this before. So since you mentioned suicide, my brother committed suicide. And I witnessed it on the phone. So
Oh, wow.
that was one of my big traumas that I went through. And but anyway, so I had to forgive myself because I felt like I had to save him. And so for a long time, I just felt really guilty that it was like my job to save him. And then I realized that there's nothing I could have done to save him. Also, we were in different places, like different states. There was lots of stuff going on, and there's nothing I could have done. But then for a while, I was like, the last words that he heard were mine. And that bothered me for a while. And then I flipped it and said, that's such a beautiful thing because there was a lot of stuff going on back and forth. And somebody was there and they're the one that called me. And the last words that he heard were loving, nice words that daughter needed him and that we loved him. And so that then gave me peace. And I said, okay, well, at least those are the last things on earth that he heard. So that made me feel a lot better. But once I forgave myself, like I could actually heal. Like I felt like I was just like, I call myself, which doesn't make sense, but if you know me, then you know I say crazy stuff. But zombie robot, that's what I was. So I was like autopilot, just like I was a single mom. Then I was going in nursing school, blah, blah, blah. Then I got in a relationship, all these things. And I was just like you said, like autopilot. And so once I forgave myself and then I became a life coach at that point, my life started like making sense. I'm like, oh, and then now I wrote a book in his honor and all these things. And like, I can talk about how he passed away, but for so long, it was so like inside of me. And like, I felt like it was hard, but now like, I mean, it's a blessing that I can help people. That's how I see about it. And he's helping people with me. So that's how I feel about it. But forgiveness was a huge part of my journey of healing. And so
I work a lot with survival guilt. And that's still very much, I mean, I'm from Hungary. Eastern Europe's history is heavy loaded with all traumatic historical events. Same with the US and just the world wars and the Holocaust. And so I had to work like on a survival guilt for people who came back from world war and they didn't survive. But same with you, is like survival guilt can be so heavy and it can be paralyzing. And as you mentioned, you just like, it should be me. I have that feeling that I should do that, or if I would, or the ifs in your head. And that's just paralyzing. And it's so beautiful that you managed to switch the flip, but so many people are not be able to do that because they are just like, I don't know where. And I'm like, I'd rather be depressed because I don't even want to face that pain to get out and start to dig myself out of that hole. So huge congratulations. And I'm sorry that your brother is not here with you right on the earth side. But as you mentioned, he's there. I'm just having chills. So he's there listening to you, seeing you. So it's a beautiful lesson.
Thank you. I haven't really cried. So since you said he is here and always beside me. The book that I wrote, there's real pictures of him. It's a fiction, but
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Yep. So he literally is right beside me all the time. And that's the thing though, like, you know, when you're with the trauma and all that stuff, is just like he had severe OCD. And so when he passed away, his daughter was 3, and she's such an amazing young woman now. She's literally, oh my gosh, she's going to be 19 in September. It's crazy. But anyway, but she is such a beautiful soul, and she does a lot of like mental health advocacy and everything. But when he passed away, she started getting some of those tendencies where she couldn't wear her socks a certain way. She wouldn't leave if they weren't like a certain way. And then she would wash her hands a lot like him and do all these things. And we were like, oh, like, oh no. And she was only 3. And so now I don't think she's like that. But, and again, I'm not judging anybody that has OCD. He had it and it was kind of debilitating for him. So there's different levels of OCD, and I'm not making light of it or anything or making fun of it. I'm just saying, like, we were like, oh, he passed that. Now that's what we were thinking, like, oh my goodness, he got this. And but also kids, you know, copy and model behavior. So if he was doing those things, then she probably even though she was so young, was probably just trying to be like him in that way. But yeah, you can, I mean, yeah, there's so many things you could pass out. So, how long do you work with do you have like a 12-week program or something like that? Or do you just do like session to session, or how's that work?
Session to sessions, because some people need like very rarely, but they are like, I just need to work on one thing. And if I got an answer, I'm fine. And that's absolutely fine. I worked with a lady. She brought some from Holocaust times and periods. And I checked back in with her. She's like, I feel fine. So that's fine. Most of my clients come back and they would like to learn more and about themselves and how to heal further. And how we do is like, so you can work on stuff that your soul is ready to release. So it's not on me, it's not my agenda. My client says that I want to do this, and it's like, okay, but how much you are ready for? So it's like actually peeling an onion one by one. Some clients can skip a couple layers and we can go very, very deep because they are ready, or because maybe they worked on it before and they are like kind of as like, I just want to go deep and get this out, with this out. And some comes back that, okay, on the next session, I would like to go deeper. Or they come back with a totally different scenario. And then we start to peel the layers on that issue. And sometimes they are overlapping. Sometimes they are totally different and they are working the other sides of the family. And just reflecting back quickly, that actually we can work on kids. And if you, for example, noticing something like that on a kid, like the OCD symptoms or signs, or like with ADHD, or if your kid is bullied in school, up until like they are 18 years old, you can work on behalf of them. Because actually so many times our kids are picking up energy from us. And they are like, oh, mommy and daddy are struggling, or they are feeling the tension, or like, okay, they feel that financially you are not very stable. And they are like, okay, I feel the tension in mommy and daddy. Let me carry that burden. Obviously, this is subconscious. But our love and loyalty towards our ancestors is above everything. And even if you say that, oh, I hate my mom, or my dad had addictions or stuff, actually you love them more than you think you do. And that's the scary part, because it's like, what do you mean? And people get grumpy when I bring this up, but it is so love and loyalty. And our kids are carrying those burdens even for us. I had to work on my daughter, who is 2.5, because she picked up stuff from me and from my husband too, and I was like, this is what we are like releasing right now, because this is not your task and not your responsibility. But it needs a lot of awareness to that. And especially when you're running around kids after the kids and you have 4 kiddos, it's a lot. Like, you don't even have time to breathe sometimes or have a shower. That's how you feel, and going into a healing journey. But that's why I love family constellation, and I try different modalities. I've been to therapy, but that was just the surface. Family constellation can really bring me down to the root and bring me up from there within 1.5 hour session.
Wow. So without telling us all of the business, you don't have to give away. Like, is it like a meditative thing, or like how do they get into the state where do they just reflect on stuff or tell a story? Like, how do you? No, you're like, no, not a
No,
business.
so that's the funny thing, that as many books as you read about family constellation, that's when they cannot really answer what happens in a session. But how I can imagine, like how I can describe for you and for the audience is, so the family conscientious or the constellation field opens up both for my clients and both for me. So for both of us. And I see or hear things, and my clients hear things, and randomly your great grandmother comes into your mind, or a color, or a scent, or a scene, and they are like, oh, this is weird. It's like, I have chills, or I would like to cry, or I feel like chest tightness. And I was like, okay, tell me more. And I start to show these colored papers to my clients. And these colored papers symbolizing concepts. So it can be life, death, suicide, cancer or sickness or something, or people, symbolizing, representing people. And they are like, oh, I hate this, I don't like this, I would love to hug this color, or oh, this was my great grandmother's favorite color. And so these colored papers and the field is actually guiding us. So that's why when people are like, oh, but I don't even remember, or I didn't know them, you don't have to. Many of us are very lucky to know only even like our great grandparents, but how would you know that your great great grandmother had a secret lover, or there was a kid aborted 7 generation back who is missing from the field or from the system? So that's the woo-woo, I call the woo-woo part. But that's when I tell to my client that try it. But after you experience it, they are like, oh, wow. And they are like, oh, didn't you just tell this story? Didn't you just come up with this? But when they start to cry, or it's like, they are like, oh, this hit me hard. Like, okay, we are at the right spot with the story.
Wow, that's cool. I love that. And so I don't talk about this. I actually didn't talk about it on here at all. But so I started realizing that I'm intuitive, and I did not know that like my whole life. And lots of things blocked it. So like a lot of things blocked it. I was in toxic relationships, one after another, all this stuff. And getting rid of certain things, now I'm like, whoa. So it's really cool because I did some I don't even know. I did timeline readings, but just in this timeline, not past timeline. And this one time, and I'm super new, so I did it for free just to learn and practice. And so everybody knew, and lots of people were spiritual as well. So like a lot of them knew what was going on. But this one time I got so itchy, like so itchy. I was like, and the lady started laughing so hard. She was like, how did you pick that up? Because one time she got this skin thing and she was itching constantly all over. And and I was like, cool. Like it was cool, but it was like I felt what she was feeling. So that when you're explaining that, it kind of reminds me of that. And a lot of people don't understand understand that, or they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, or it's like scary or whatever, but it's not meant to be scary. It's brings awareness, and you're just
Thank
trying
you.
to like
Yes.
help. Yeah, you're not trying to like take somebody's identity or something. No, we got our own going on, right? So,
No, so it's like I tell to my clients that we are not here to dig up the skeletons and let them all out, and for the sake of doing it, or that you know that what happened. We are healing, and we are here for a purpose, as you mentioned, bringing awareness to this, bringing where you are bringing this from, and putting it down, so you can, without all your layers and all your burdens, and as my friend says, without the fridge from your back, it's just like you cannot fly if you have a fridge on your back. So it's just like putting it down, but we have to like take out the salami, you have to take out the cabbage and all the stuff, and it gets lighter and lighter until you are actually putting down the fridge. But it's not for the sake of doing this. It's not like a talk show kind of thing, but it's like you can heal from this. And as you mentioned, there is like so much stuff going on when you have, I had very severe skin issues last year for 1.5 years, and I had to do a lot of healing because Western medication failed on me. And the amount of stuff I got rid of, I was like, I'm so tired. I thought that I've done this for 10 years. And it was like, they were like, no, here is more. And it's like, I literally got it into my face because it was like I had swollen face. But yes.
Aw.
And it's beautiful. It's beautiful that you get that intuition back, or you can dig that up, and now it's like on the surface and you are ready to shine with it. Because as you mentioned, so much toxic relationships, environment, toxic workplaces, it can just like what we eat and what we drink, and that makes our choices like it's one after another, and you are like, oh, why I feel like so deep down, why I feel like I have to just chug down coffee after coffee, why I don't feel energized. It's because of that. And when you start to take those out, it's just, hello, I'm ready to shine.
Yeah. It's awesome. So, I have a child that's has lots of diagnosis.
Yep.
And he's doing amazing. He's doing awesome now. As a little one though, it was a lot. I was a single mom of two of them, and I had the two oldest when I was young, and then I had my bonus son came into my life. He was 4, and I was like maybe like mid to late 20s, and then I had my daughter at 30. And so anyway, the big difference in all of them, but the two boys that I was, being a single mom of, the second one, my youngest one, got diagnosed at ADHD at 4. And I think they call it, well, they don't call it Asperger's anymore, but I think Asperger's, he got diagnosed like at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then just all kinds of different things.
Mhm.
So you stated that you can like act in the place of your child. Like
Yes.
how does that work? Because I find that to be fascinating. I think that's awesome.
So uh, so how you do it is like, up until your children became like 16, 18, so technically adults, they are picking up a lot of energy from you as a mom, and also from the dad. So it might be that it's actually she's picking up a lot from her dada. So when I work for example, you come to me that, hey, I have these diagnoses for my child and I would like to work on it. Your daughter is 12, so you can still work on her, correct? Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this wasn't her. It's my older.
Oh, okay. So yeah, when they are younger, you can. After that, I have to ask their permission, and they are adult enough to actually be on the session. So what I would do is like you come to me and you are like, these are the symptoms and that's what we have, or the conditions. And I would ask that, okay, which one is the most debilitating, or which is the most paralyzing, or the most severe one? And then we start to see that actually where is she bringing those from? Is it from the mom side, from your side, or from your partner's side? And then sometimes it's actually, let's say it's coming from the dad side, we can work on it because it's affecting your child. We cannot work on your partner side just for the sake of working, because obviously that's against his free will, or your partner's free will. But and here I have to tell you that we have to work with the biological parents. So it's important to tell that even if somebody doesn't know their biological, we have to work with the biological parents. So with your partner, you can work on whatever is happening with your daughter on your partner's side, on the biological dad side, because it's affecting your daughter or your child. But does this make sense? So we go in and we cannot heal everything. We can heal up to the level that it's actually your daughter or your child gets better. Or if it's like, I worked on my mother-in-law's side on a couple of things because it was affecting me and my daughter. But just for the sake of like, oh, I know that she has some burdens, I will just go in and heal. I cannot do that. But because it was affecting and my daughter was picking up stuff from her, I started to heal that session, like healing a session, working on her side of the family. And so many times it's like, so kids can bring their own karma, they are bringing their own life lessons, and they have to deal with some stuff. But so many times it's actually from the parents. So whatever is there, whatever is coming from the parents, we can heal. And then we can look at it later, that what's their karma, and we can see if we can work on that.
Wow. So what age would you start as, like, so your daughter is 2.5, that's very young. Um, when you said that there was something that you already were like, no, how does your daughter like react to that being so young? Like, how does that affect her at that age?
So a couple things. It wasn't always my daughter. Sometimes it was me. And my daughter came into the picture because we put her into the picture, and it turns out that it's actually she's carrying this. So even if I was like, oh, we have to work on something with my husband, so I put my teacher put me and my husband, and she's like, you know what, let's bring in your daughter. And that's when it turns out that my daughter is like, hey, I'm here to carry everybody else's burdens. It's like, I was like, oh no. So
Oh,
that's when it turned out that it was actually me or my husband's that we wanted to work on, but she came into the picture. Or yes, my daughter is 2.5, but for example, of course it's toddlering. It's like you never know that when it's a growth spurt, they are like teething, or they are just fussy, or they have gas. But when it's just a constant something, when your kids have like 6, 7, 8 tantrums, each like holding up for 30 minutes to an hour or 2 hour a day, and you are exhausted, that's when I would look at it. And if you have somebody diagnosed, because when they have the diagnosis, or if you know that they have some long-standing health issues, like they have lung issues, for example, or asthma, or we can look at eczema actually, because sometimes eczema can be like a boundary issue type of thing. So all these kind of things, when you would run that, okay, I go to the pediatrician, which I say that always go to the pediatrician, check, but know that there are other healing modalities that maybe you can look at with. I'm not saying that you can always fix it, or it's like always heals in the first session, but we can bring results or bring awareness to the situation, and you can work on it.
wow, that's so awesome. Um, so what we kind of just talked about that, so I guess I'll ask a different question. Um, how did you come up with the name, or is that your actual company name, Awareness?
So yeah, that's my company name and my webpage, because I love awareness. It all starts with awareness. It's like when I started my healing journey 14 years ago as an au pair, I wanted to ask the question. I asked the question that who am I? Who I am really in the core, without all the limiting beliefs, without all the stuff that I got from my country or inherited from my country as a Hungarian, as an Eastern European, from my parents, from my educators, and I just wanted to really dive in. So I think awareness is a key. Self-awareness, it starts with you. And the nest part is like the family part, is why I'm doing it. I would like to contribute to raise a healthier, emotionally, physically, mentally healthier generation, because as parents, we are like so overwhelmed with all the information and trying to like doing your best, and sometimes you are actually not doing your best, or you think you are doing and you are not. So it's just like bringing awareness to our nest, and that's how I came up with the idea of awareness.
I love it. That's so pretty. That's awesome and very clever.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But you're absolutely right about a lot of stuff. But like, if you're not aware, that's the thing. For a long time, I would, I was a people pleaser a long time ago, and not that long ago, but a while ago when I wasn't healed. And it's like you can't say no. You're scared to say the truth about things and that. But if you're not aware, how can you fix it, right? So if you're not making someone aware, say in a relationship, that this bothers me, you just keep it inside and then it keeps happening. Guess what? You might end up divorced. But if you talk about it and you both say, hey, this bothers me, this is, I don't like this, or whatever, can you do this instead, or this bothers me, or blah 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 blah. And then sometimes the awareness can actually heal and help the situation. um
Absolutely.
it's so awesome. Like, and that's the thing with me, is that if she wouldn't have ever said that all I did was yell, I wouldn't have realized that that's what I was doing. So I needed to hear that. And
Mm-hmm.
with kids, though, my daughter, the 12-year-old, she thinks everything's mean. It's mean. It's mean. That's mean. It's not mean. I'm a coach, but I have a coach. I have several coaches for different things. But my coach said to me the other day, straight up, we were having our one-on-one session, and she said to me, either go find a pen, because if you're this distracted, we're not doing the session. And I was like, okay. And I went and got a pen, because I was throwing off our vibe. Like, we work on energy and everything, and I was interrupting her energy of my spasticness of not having a pen, which I wasn't even aware of. Didn't even barely look at her. I was just looking around. And so I needed to hear that. Was made aware that you're not paying attention. This is important. I'm trying to help. She's trying to help me. And I'm just all over the place. So I needed to hear that. But with kids, sometimes they think that that's harsh. That's mean. That's this. I'm like, no, it wasn't. She was making me aware again of what was important. She was communicating with me. Listen, my time is valuable. Like, she didn't say any of that, but what she was saying to me was, my time is valuable. If you're not going to pay attention, see ya, where I've got other stuff to do, So, and that was important, and I needed to hear that. And that's the thing in life, though, sometimes, is that we don't make each other aware of things, or even in coworkers or whatever. And then you just have this hostility for no reason. It could have been something silly, or you could have fixed it. So I think that is awesome. It's a beautiful word. And so we always ask the question, if you could go back and tell your 13-year-old self something, what would you say? But I want to bring in awareness to it. So if you could make your 13-year-old self aware of something, and like, in your life situation, or in your country or whatever, what would you bring awareness to for her?
Interesting that you are asking that, because I was bullied in elementary school, like around that time, and like to the point that I wanted to commit suicide. And if I would go back to that time, I would say that this whole thing is not about you, and this is about the other person. But it would be hard to tell to a 10, 13-year-old
Yeah.
when they are full of hormones, and like their life is like they just want to belong, and so sad. And my parents were busy with other things and life. But I would say that yes, this is not about you, and you will get through it, and it's temporary. And just quickly, two things that what came to me, that nowadays we are just so afraid to tell each other the truth, because either it comes out like a very harsh way, and people, they are taking it super personal and like an attack, and they are flip it, and there are not intelligent conversations with, like, even if you disagree with me, which I'm completely fine with, but why we have to attack each other instead of raising awareness that, hey, have you thought about this way? And if somebody disagrees with you, like, yeah, you are my enemies, like you should go away. And so it's like people stopped giving like challenging but like good feedback, that, hey, have you ever thought about that? And about your triggers, actually, how you can start. And I created on my webpage, under the resources, you can find a trigger log. And if you ever want to try that, I think that's a great way. You don't even have to be spiritual or holistic for that, but start to write down that, okay, here are the things that triggering me. Why? Or who is pushing my button? Is it that coworker who is like coming late all the time? Why is it triggering me? And how long does it take actually until you can recover? And after you do this for a couple weeks, you can see your triggers. It's like, okay, being late is triggering me. Why is that? Because my mom always expected me to be on time. It's like, is it about your coworker? No, he or she is just a mirror of your trigger. But when you see this on a paper with a trigger log, they are like, actually, this is why is it so annoying that that person comes late. It's not about that person. It's actually in me, because my inner child is triggered, because I feel like I'm back in when I was like 5 years old. So the trigger log actually can help you, and it's like realizing and starting to bring awareness to things.
I love it. And that's something that I work on with people too, is identifying their triggers. So that's really awesome. But yeah, it is very important. There was like a couple people at my job currently, but one of them definitely, um, that they just remind me of stuff that I went through, like very controlling, very this and that. And I'm like, so I have this, I'm aware of it, but I'm like, it's okay. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. It's all good. But sometimes, just if I'm having I'm a nurse. So if something's going on and or whatever, and then I allow that to trigger me, I have to I literally will deep breathe at work. I will do all kinds of stuff to try to get myself back in control and nope, not gonna allow it. But I am human. So sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But I am aware of it. Yeah. So I had to literally do that myself because I mean, that's, with my brother's situation, I had so many triggers, like so many triggers. And I was going through nursing school and raising then 3 kids and then working still and then planning a wedding while I'm going to nursing school and healing. Like my brother had just passed away
Mm-hmm.
2 months before I started the program.
That's hardcore,
Yeah,
dealing with all of that. So
yeah, but
I hope you're proud.
thank you so much. But I was triggered so often that I would shut down, like literally shut down. And I didn't have time to shut down. No, sorry, but
Yeah.
but then now things that used to trigger me, like when it doesn't, I'm like, woo, I like laugh about it now or all these things. And I'm trying not to get too graphic because kids listen to this. But there was a certain sound that like I just yeah. And now I'll be like, oh, that's not real or whatever. And and grounding helps. Lots of things help. But
Yes.
I
Find your stuff, find
yeah,
your healing modality, find your, if it's running, if it's boxing, or if it's any exercises or hugging a tree, get out, or like walking bare feet on the ground. My daughter loves to be outside and just bare feet everywhere, and I was like, go for it, girl, just ground yourself. So whatever is your thing, what are those, have a toolkit ready for yourself for those days when you are like, okay, I have to get through this. And it's like, but I have a lovely tea next to me, because that helps me to focus on the conversation we have. So whatever works, just find your thing.
yeah, that's so awesome. All right, so thank you for all your information. Where can we find you?
The easiest way to find me is at my webpage, awareness.net, or I'm on Instagram at Blanca_awareness.
Okay. I usually have my daughter for this part. Net awareness. Wait,
.net.
I don't know if
Yes.
I'm spelling it right.
.net.
Oh my gosh. Where's the 12-year-old when you need her? I think she does it a lot faster than me. She's like,
Here, I popped
right?
it into the chat, yeah, for you. And let me find my Instagram. I have it already. So pop. Blanca_awareness. And there are some free resources, like, so for example, meditation for adults, meditation for kiddos, either just breathing exercises, if you need like a couple moments.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you for all the beautiful, wonderful information. And do you do virtual or just
Virtual. I do virtual one-on-ones. One session is about 1.5 hours, and I'm in Central Time Zone in Texas, but I have clients on the West Coast, on the East Coast, so find me.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this.
Appreciate it.
And I think it's awesome. Like I actually knew some of the information, but I didn't know it was called that. So it's really cool. Thank you again for everything. Thank you for being a wonderful guest. And I hope that you have a beautiful, lovely day.
Thank you. Thank you.